Those marks will be top 50 marks in the country for sure. Let me take a look there for Smallwood. That 21.16 will go up to about 21.23, if I'm not mistaken. That's about the number 40 mark in the country. Very good early season mark for Smallwood. So the Longhorns running well here. Small, Blackwood, Brinkley, Smallwood's all taking early heats here. Actually, Bryce Young of New Mexico with that Heat 2 win. And there you can see the aggregated results on your screen, with Smallwood taking over the lead here in these unseeded heats of the 200. And then our next heat, Heat 5, features D'Angelo Hawthorne in 2, Joseph Bailey in 3, Julian Single running unattached in 4, Taylor Briggs of Angelo State in 5, and the Christian Traps of Cal out in lane 6. And you can see how this is a confluence meet. We got Cal and Stanford here from California. Obviously, already seen Texas and New Mexico. This meet, a fixture to the early indoor season here in the Southwest and West Coast. Joseph Bailey there for Stanford. Excellent 400-meter runner, 400-meter hurdler, running out of lane 3. And Traps of Cal on the outside in the all-Navy. Former community college star at Merritt Community College, running well for the Bears so far this season. And that is Traps, was the first out of the blocks on the outside. Keep an eye on Taylor Briggs of Angelo State, now starting to chew up some ground in the all yellow there. That is Taylor Briggs of Angelo State, blowing the doors off of Section 5 here. A very good run for Briggs. You can see Briggs, a taller athlete there. That's sometimes challenging on these indoor tracks to manage those bank turns, but he did a very nice job of that. And there is the Angelo State star, the heat winner there in heat number 5, Taylor Briggs. 21.72 for Briggs. Good effort for him. That'll convert to under 21.8. He's your Section 5 winner. As I said, taller individual there. Sometimes that could be a challenge in navigating those bank turns. And the two of them in this 200, indoor 200. And that was the Section 5 results there on your screen. Briggs single up for second. And you can still see Smallwood with the fastest time of the afternoon so far, 21.16. Ian Kittleston in that fast fourth section. And as we prepare for heat number 6, 2 athletes from Ranger Community College in 2 and 3, Robert Stewart and Emery Gokturk. And then Cole Carrasco of Lubbock Christian in 4, Desmond Frazier of Western Texas College in 5, and Dylan Davis of Stanford in 6. Dylan Davis, excellent prep career in the Seattle area, has started his collegiate career out nicely, matriculated to Stanford, been a big part of their short sprint squad there that broke the school record in the 4x1 last year. He was a part of that. We'll keep an eye on him out in lane 6. It's Dylan Davis getting challenged by Desmond Frazier of Western Texas College. And it's Desmond Frazier now, Western Texas College, running very well out of lane 5. He's going to take section 6 here. We'll get a time there on Frazier. He turned away a good field that included Dylan Davis. Frazier 21.95. That'll convert to just over 22 seconds with the altitude conversion. But a nice heat win there for the Western Texas College star. And a number of these athletes will, the 200 is a confluence event. Some of them are long sprinters that might be getting ready for the 300 or the 400 later, and some of them are short sprinters we'll see in the interior sprints on the interior of the oval and the 60, possibly even some 60 hurdlers that are competing at 200 meters. Now heat 7 here in these unseeded men's 200s. Peyton Fasani of Ranger Community College in 2. Eber Gallegos of ASICS Mexico in 3. Samaj Thompson of New Mexico in 4. Dominic Frank of Western Texas College in 5. And Brendan McHenry of Texas in 6. McHenry, the excellent jumper for the Longhorns. Looks like he has a scratch in 6. He may be competing in one of the jumps as we speak. And we're going to see Eber Gallegos of ASICS Mexico. We're going to see him later in one of the invite sections, or actually that'll be tomorrow in one of the invite sections of the 60. And that's Gallegos in the bright red top with the black shorts. He's got Samaj Thompson of New Mexico just outside of him. And then Dominic Frank of Western Texas College with the blue shorts and the white top, who just saw his teammate Desmond Frazier win the previous section. And they are off here with Frank out well. And there's Gallegos already chewing up the stagger on Thompson. And it's Gallegos trying to bring back Frank. And it looks like Eber Gallegos of ASICS Mexico is going to win heat number 7 here. There's Gallegos. Solid run for the post-collegiate athlete representing Mexico. Again, this is a nice opportunity for some of those post-collegiates to get their indoor season started. There's some big major competitions coming up. They'll attract some international talent over the next few weeks, and this is a great early season test for these athletes and a great opportunity for some of these collegiates to challenge themselves. And there's Gallegos. As we have 4 heats remaining here of this men's 200. And the next heat scheduled is section number 8. Andrew Cook of CSU Pueblo. His teammate Mackay Hubbard is in 3. So Cook and Hubbard of CSU Pueblo in 2 and 3. Zachary Ryan of Stanford in 4. Jacob Garger of West Texas College is in 5. Looks like he is a scratch as that lane is open. And then in lane 6, Kahari Wilbon of New Mexico out there in 6. Wilbon, the fine freshman from Aurora, Colorado for the Lobos, getting his track career started at this home meet on this great Albuquerque indoor facility inside the Albuquerque Convention Center that's hosted so many top flight events, world-class events over the years, including numerous U.S. national championships. So a great opportunity for these athletes to compete on this proven facility. Wilbon on the outside. And you can see Zachary Ryan of Stanford trying to keep him close. But it looks like Kahari Wilbon of New Mexico. Here comes Zachary Ryan of Stanford. And it's Ryan now in the middle of the track. Ryan and Wilbon. And Zachary Ryan with excellent effort there in Section 8. As they embrace after a good battle there. Ryan very pleased with that. 21.6 for Zachary Ryan. That's one of the faster times of the day so far. Kahari Wilbon, 21.81. So 21.67 is a decent run there for Zachary Ryan. At least that's what it'll convert to, 21.67. Again, we're at a bit of altitude here, so we'll see all the sprint times get converted for these collegiate athletes. And the distance athletes will get some of the time subtracted from their marks. We'll talk about that a little bit in our distance races. But here in the sprints, 0.07 that gets added to the times in terms of for qualifying marks on the NCAA descending order list. And Zachary Ryan's time there puts him 8th overall. You can see the 4 Longhorns, Smallwood, Blackwood, Brinkley, and Small, 4 of the top 6 times. With Kittleston, who is the runner-up there to Smallwood in heat number 4, with Young, the heat number 2 winner for New Mexico. Heat 9, Ralph Zazerkis of New Mexico Junior College, CJ Pizek of New Mexico are the 2 athletes here to compete. Zazerkis of New Mexico JC down there in all red in lane 3, and Pizek of New Mexico out in 6, the freshman for the Lobos. And they're going to bring him back to the blocks here. So just 2 athletes in the heat. Zerkis of New Mexico JC and CJ Pizek of New Mexico. As I said, Pizek a freshman. So awesome. We got to see Wilbon run well, up for 2nd in that previous heat. Great opportunity for these young Lobos to get their indoor career started, their collegiate indoor career started with a series of home meets. Albuquerque will feature they'll host a number of home meets on the collegiate calendar. So it's a great opportunity for the Lobos to get some great experience, especially some of the younger ones, throughout this indoor season. And now our starters are restart again here. Ralph Zerkis and CJ Pizek. Guns up. And we got a fair start now. Looks like Pizik might have been the best out of the block. The freshman for the Lobos, running well on the outside, trying to hold off the New Mexico JC athlete Ralph Zerkis. And it's going to be a tight battle to the line. Looks like CJ Pizik of New Mexico. .22:38 for Pizik. That could be a little challenging with only 2 athletes in there. Kind of running a little bit blind out there on the outside without anybody inside of you pressing you. But Pizik with a nice job there for the freshman. 2 heats remaining here in these unseeded 200s. There are going to be 4 heats later this evening in the invitational sections of the 200. You're going to want to stick around, watch those here live on FloTrack. We've got a number of Olympians competing in those heats, at least scheduled to compete, including a few French Olympians, as well as some top collegiate athletes. So it should be some great marks coming out of those invitational sections. 2 heats remaining here of our unseeded sections. Here in section 10, Anthony Brazier of Arizona Christian, Corbin Hughes of Lubbock Christian, Kyler Joe of Eastern New Mexico, Jacoby Smith of Cal, and Charles Frimpong of Angelo State. Looks like Jacoby Smith may be a scratch there in 5, so it'll be Brazier, Hughes, Joe, and Frimpong. Frimpong, oh, there's Smith making his way back to the blocks. Frimpong, a 400-meter runner for Angelo State, a part of their 4x4 team that advanced to the national championships last year in Division II. He's out there in 6. And then Jacoby Smith of Cal, great prep career at International School in San Francisco. We'll see Jacoby Smith's sister, Nairobi Smith, later for the Cal Bears. The 2 of them, the 2 siblings, a part of their good short sprinting squad for both the men and the women for Cal. And it's Jacoby Smith out very well. He's the short sprinter. He's going to challenge Frimpong of Angelo State, who's more of a 400-meter runner. Keep an eye inside. Kyler Joe in the middle of the track. There is Joe. So it's Joe and Jacoby Smith. And it looks like Kyler Joe of Eastern New Mexico with the heat win after Smith was strong out of the blocks. But it was Kyler Joe, the best over the back half, 22:11 for Joe. Jacoby Smith second at 22:48. Very good mark there for Kyler Joe at 22:11. And that was our penultimate heat of these men's 200s. Our final heat set to run before our women run in the unseeded 200. We're going to see a number of those athletes back again over the next 2 days. Great action here at the Albuquerque Convention Center. Variety of events over 2 days. Short sprinters will run in the 60 and the 60-meter hurdles. We have 200s, 300s, 400s for the long sprinters. And then we'll see some great middle distance action, 600s, 800s, the mile. And upcoming after these 200s, we're going to see our long distance event, the 3K, with some big names in that. Here's this final heat. Marquise Wright, Arizona Christian. Toshin Agbede running unattached. Trey Buchanan unattached as well. Wazell Wright of Cal and Siobhan DePass of Western Texas College on the outside. Wright, Agbede, Buchanan, Wright, and DePass. It's Marquise Wright in 2, Wazell Wright in 5, and it is Wazell Wright of Cal out well, challenging Siobhan DePass. And now you can see Trey Buchanan moving well with the black top there and the green shorts, running unattached. An Eastern New Mexico athlete in a tight battle between Buchanan and DePass. And it looked like it was Trey Buchanan, 22-19, up for the heat win. There's Trey Buchanan. He was running unattached. He is a student athlete at Eastern New Mexico, but competing unattached here today. And that wraps up our men's unseeded 200s. Fastest times came out of that 4th section with Kendrick Smallwood and Connor Kittleston running 1-2. You can see the marks there for section 11. Buchanan 22-19, DePass 22-20. And there are those aggregated results. Smallwood, Kittleston, Young from New Mexico, your 3 top times. And you can see the 4 of the top 6 from the University of Texas. And that brings us to our women's 200. The unseeded heats for the women. There are 10 scheduled in this women's competition. In lane 3, Charlie Koslegu of Arizona, Tawana McLean of New Mexico JC in 4, Rebecca Grieve of New Mexico in 5, and Ava Nyam of New Mexico in 6. Grieve in 5 there, 400-meter specialist for the Lobos, I'm sorry. She's run 54.16. And Gom had a great prep career at, she's a freshman out of Katy, Texas area. So she's getting her career started. It looked like Grieve was the best out of the blocks. Nagam stood up a little early coming out of those blocks, losing some of that momentum. You can see the more experienced Rebecca Grieve running well, 54.16, her best over 400 meters. And she is dominating this section of the women's 200, section 1. That's going to be a time for all the women to chase over the next 10 heats. 23.95, so dipping under 24 seconds. She seems very pleased with that. Gives her teammate Nagam there a hug, the freshman from Katy, Texas, with her first race. But it's Grieve, the 400-meter specialist, the heat winner, 23.95. Obviously, they'll convert to just over 24 seconds in terms of that NCAA list, and the Mountain West list as well. But nonetheless, great mark there for Grieve. And that'll set the mark here that these women will chase over the next 9 heats. Section 2, as these runners get ready to enter the blocks. Their final push-outs here. Mari Pratt of New Mexico Junior College, Tori Anderson of Cal, Charlize Frazier of Western Texas College, and Nina Thevenin of Grand Canyon. Tori Anderson, Charlize Frazier, and Nina Thevenin. Thevenin from France there on the outside. Of Grand Canyon, the Lopes with an excellent program, always in the mix for WAC titles. And now it's Charlize Frazier of Western Texas College running well there. Charlize Frazier with the heat win. Frazier 24:39. Thevenin, the French woman for Grand Canyon, 24:49. So still Grieve with the fastest time through those first two heats. And heat number 3, Rylan Rhodes of Arizona Christian. There you can see the marks there for section 2 on your screen. And the athletes getting ready here for section 3. There's a good shot of this New Mexico, or this Albuquerque Convention Center indoor facility. It's hosted so many world-class events over the years. Heat 3, Rylan Rhodes, Kyla Rusick of CSU Pueblo, Camille Peisner of Stanford, and Adriana Shelby of New Mexico. Peisner, the 400-meter specialist for Stanford. She's number 5 all-time in the 300 for the Cardinal. She's run 40 flat in that event. Shelby, the freshman from Wichita, Kansas. On the outside there. And it's Shelby out well. Adriana Shelby, the freshman from Wichita, and now Peisner, the 400-meter specialist, beginning to move, and it's Peisner of Stanford who has gobbled up the stagger on Shelby, and it's going to be Camille Peisner of Stanford, the section 3 winner, just over 25 seconds, 25:10. And there are those results for section 3, Peisner, Shelby, Rusic, and Rhodes. And you can see those aggregated results. Still Grieve with that great run out of the first section, 23:95. Only athlete under 24 today so far. And similar to the men, we will have our invitational sections of these 200 meters later this evening. Section 4, Megan Rodriguez of Eastern New Mexico, scheduled to run out of lane 3. Sabia Duran of Stanford in 4. Anaya Quarles of New Mexico in 5. Helena Klutzi Carbu of Eastern New Mexico in 6. Duran there of Stanford, excellent 400-meter hurdler, transferred from Columbia, where she was one of the top hurdlers in the Ivy League. Incidentally, she prepped at Sandia High School here in Albuquerque, so a cool homecoming for the senior Duran from Stanford. There in lane 4. It looks like Quarles Anaya Quarles of New Mexico, the freshman from Arizona, running well in lane 5. Anaya Quarles of New Mexico. Excellent run for the freshman, holding off Helena Klutsi-Carbu of Eastern New Mexico. 25:02 for Quarles, just scaring that 25-second barrier. I believe that's the second fastest time thus far. And you can see Duran there talking with her teammate, and you can see the athletes there for heat number 5. Annabelle Johnson of Arizona Christian, her teammate Jocelyn Odiot also of Arizona Christian there in 3 and 4. Rachel Nelson of Stanford in 5. Anika Bucas of Lubbock Christian in 6. Nelson of Stanford in 5 there, the sophomore from Texas. Expect her to challenge Bucas on the outside of Lubbock Christian, the South African star sprinter for Lubbock Christian. You can see in the royal blue kit out in lane 6. Bucas out well. Good push out of the blocks, but now Nelson beginning to move. Nelson of Stanford. Bucas of Lubbock Christian, but it's Rachel Nelson of Stanford with a great push down the backstretch, slingshotted through that turn, and she's going to be your heat winner here in heat number 5 of the unseeded 200. $24.98 for Nelson. Excellent run there for the sophomore. Out of Texas. Great prep career in the state of Texas. You can see Greaves' time still holding up. Frazier, a heat winner there at 24:39 in second. And Nelson there up into the top 5 as we are halfway through now these women's unseeded 200 heats. Section 6 featuring Chastity Rayford of Ranger Community College, Nalicia Glenn of New Mexico JC, Janice Everett in 5 of CSU Pueblo, and Hannah Keese of New Mexico on the outside. Keese, the 400 hurdle star for the Lobos. She was the New Mexico high school state champion. And we'll see if she can challenge her teammate Grieve for the fastest time here in these women's 200s. Rayford, Glenn, Everett, and Keese. And it is Keese with the best push out of those blocks. And she is moving well down the backstretch. Janice Everett of CSU Pueblo trying to keep her close. Pretty even now at 100 meters. But it looks like Keese at the top of the track comes off that preferred lane 6 turn with some momentum, and she will be the heat winner, the 400 hurdle star, dropping down here to 200 meters. 24.96 for Keese, dipping under 25 seconds. The excellent mark there for Keese. She seems to like it, as does her coach. And so that was heat number 6. 4 heats remain. You can see Greaves' time there, 23.95. That's a top 50 mark early season here at the NCAA level, NCAA Division I level. Heat number 7, Riley Wilson of CSU Pueblo, Charity Rayford of Ranger Community College, Rihanna Argulin of Lubbock Christian, and Jessica James of Cal Poly Pomona out there in lane 6.
On your marks.
Inside out, Wilson, Rayford, Argulin, and James. So some Division II athletes here with some community college athletes. And it looked like Jessica James with good push there. The transfer from Chico State now at Cal Poly Pomona. Getting her career started here for Cal Poly Pomona after a nice career at Chico State, but now she's getting challenged by Argulin. James, 24.97, dipping under 25 seconds. She likes it. As we said, this is a great confluence meet. Division II athletes, Division I, community college, and some professional athletes. There you can see a heat winner from Cal Poly Pomona, great track school there in Southern California at the Division II level. And James getting the heat win there for Cal Poly Pomona on Section 7. Section 8 now, 3 heats remaining. Leah Martinez of CSU Pueblo, Tania Miles of Ranger Community College, Camille Boyd of Lubbock Christian, and Gabrielle Dunich of CSU Pueblo. So CSU Pueblo, the Thunderwolves, great Division II program in the state of Colorado. They've got the baby blue kit tops there in lanes 3 and 6, with Miles of Ranger and Boyd of Lubbock Christian in the middle of the track. Martinez, Miles, Boyd, and Dunich. And it's Dunich on the outside. Dunich in 6. Running very well through that first turn. And then keep an eye on Boyd. Boyd really moved well on that backstretch. Now Boyd leading through that second turn. And it's Camille Boyd of Lubbock Christian. She's going to be your heat winner here of section number 8.
In section 9, you have Erickson of Eastern New Mexico. The 3 is
25.81 there for Boyd. As there are 2 heats now remaining of these unseeded 200s, and that'll bring us a little closer to our first distance race of the weekend, the 3,000 meters. So definitely going to switch gears here from a sprint race, which I think athletes do enjoy coming to the thin air of Albuquerque for these sprint races, chance to run fast times, or the distance runners, it's a bit more of a challenge to run in the thin air of Albuquerque. We're going to get to see that coming up here in these 3000s. Devin Erickson of Eastern New Mexico, Nariana Hernandez running unattached, Kaija Willis of West Texas College, and then her teammate just outside of her, Christiana Boyd, and then Paige Porter of Cal on the outside. There you can see Erickson of Eastern New Mexico there in lane 2. There's the duo from Western Texas College, Willis and Boyd. And then Paige Porter of Cal on the outside there in lane 6. Here in the penultimate heat of the women's unseeded 200s. Looked like Christiana Boyd of Western Texas College with a nice push out of the blocks, and Boyd is leading this heat. Paige Porter trying to challenge on the outside. We'll see if Boyd can kind of hold her form through the all-important home stretch, and it is Boyd holding off Porter for that heat win. Christiana Boyd of Western Texas College, 25-21 with the heat win there. Western Texas College has notched a number of heat wins on both the women and the men's side here in these unseeded 200s. 25-30 there for Porter in second in that heat, and that brings up our final heat here of these unseeded women's 200s. Remember, our seeded heat's going to be later this evening. They'll be the final events on the docket this evening, those invitational 200s, scheduled for 7 for the men and 7:15 for the women. And here in section 10, Shige Sheppy of Western Texas College, Ta'aja Fawn of Cal Poly Pomona, Samira Stevenson of Cal Poly Pomona, and then 2 New Mexico Lobos on the outside, Ophelia Pulley and Layla Lawson.
On your marks.
There is the New Mexico duo of Pulley and Lawson. And Lawson with a good push. The freshman from Frisco, Texas, with a nice start. Her teammate Pulley trying to bring her back just a bit. Pulley, a Colorado native, running well on inside of her teammate. And it is Pulley and Lawson, with Stevenson of Cal Poly Pomona challenging from the middle. But it will be Ophelia Pulley of New Mexico, 25-35. A very nice mark there for Pulley to close out those 200 heats. So New Mexico Lobos bookend winners with Grieve in heat 1 and then Pulley there in heat 10. And again, Grieve fastest time of the day so far. We still have those invitational heats to come, but Grieve, the only athlete under 24 seconds. And there's Pulley's mark of 25-35 with Lawson 25-48. Very tight there for third between Sheppy and Stevenson. And there's the aggregated marks for all our women's 200s. You can see Grieve's mark of 23.95. She had that dominant performance in heat number 1. Frazier with a great run there in second. The French star from Grand Canyon, Thevinin, there in third. And then Keese, 400-meter hurdler for New Mexico, also with a top 5 finish, dipping under 25 seconds. And that wraps up our unseeded 200s. Our men's 3,000 is scheduled for 5:05, and we'll take a short break and be back for our 3,000 meters.